Hi everyone. So I'm hoping you can excuse my voice today because I am a little bit sick. But life goes on, so I'm just gonna keep on going. I recently moved 4 hours from where I'd been staying for a long time, and I have a lot of pets, so that is quite a process. Today I actually went to Petco to pick up a couple of things that we needed or that didn't survive the move because we did lose a couple of things when we moved. So I figured I'd show everyone. The first thing I want to start out with is these cute little dog toys. There's a little giraffe and a little lion. These were right in the door when we walked in Petco, and they have some huge ones if you've got a big dog, but they're just so adorable. This one's mine, and this one's actually for my grandma's dogs because she picked up a couple things while we were in there too. But I find it so cute, and my dog loves it, so it's dog approved. And then also for my dog, I got him some wet food. Now, I don't really prefer feeding wet food because it's not that great for their teeth. Especially with a little dog, I always worry about his teeth, and the wet food just kind of like sits on it and it can get really bad. So, I do feed him hard food, and we actually were almost out, so I also picked up a bag of blue life protection bits. It's the small breed lamb and brown rice. We've been feeding him Purina One, which is an amazing brand, but he's a really picky eater, so Dramp only eats certain things and he loves it. But we don't get it all the time because our other girl, Stella, she's a 50-pound border collie and she can put down some food. So we try and go with the Purina One because it's a great food for both of them, and I'd rather keep them on the same thing than feed them separate. Also for my dog, we got this little like stretchy lizard toy. I don't know, it's cute. I think he's gonna like it. I haven't given it to him yet, but. And then we got this little thing. I think this is mostly for Stella. She'll probably destroy it, but I love the little face on it. Alright, and then I did get two things for my lizard. My leopard gecko. I already have my bearded dragon Bella all set up, but I got sphagnum moss. This helps with the humid hide, which is in the middle of his tank. That helps them when they're in shed. They go in there and it's humid and it like moistens their skin so it comes off easier. We have a little skull set in the center. We do keep it in the middle. You can do the cold hide as a humid hide, but we've got like 4 hides in there, so we just went with the center one as the best one. And then also for him that I do not have out with me because he really needed it in his tank is an under the tank heater. We had a light over him last night, but that is not the ideal heat source for a leopard gecko. So the thing was, when I went to pick him up from my local pet store back where I was, because I got him before the move, they did not have the 10 to 20 gallon under the tank heater, and we have them in a 20-gallon long. It took up about half the tank, and really the ideal is about a third of the tank needs to have a heat mat under it. So we had to wait until we could find one, and luckily it was only a day that he had to deal with the heat bulb rather than the under the tank heater, but we had a spare one, so he was still nice and toasty. Now let's move on to the fish. Now, I have 4 fish tanks. I have a 20-gallon long, a 10-gallon, and 2 5.5 gallons. There is a beta currently in 3 of the tanks. We have a half-moon beta. His name's Smaug. He is gorgeous. He's blue, like a metallic blue, and then his tail's red with like black along the tips. Unfortunately, we're having a little bit of issues with him, so I would show him, but he's kind of healing up. I don't know if he's been nipping his fins or if something we had in there is sharp, but We always check them, though you really have to be careful with plastic plants. And actually, I recommend not getting them at all. If you look at my moving video, I actually threw out a bunch of plastic plants because I did not approve of them. They weren't actually in my beta tanks, so it's not like it was the end of the world, but I just didn't want to keep something around that could possibly hurt my fish. So on that note, I did go ahead and pick up some silk plants today. This was a 3-pack variety pack. It's got this pretty purple one. This almost reminds me of Sully from Monsters, Inc. I just love it. And then it's also on the same plant, has these like 3 colored leaves. I just think this plant's really pretty. And then a little green one. I'm probably going to put this in my 20-gallon, and then I will tell you later where this one is going. And I'm not sure on this one yet. Probably the 20 as well, because 20 gallons is a lot of tank space to be filling with plants. So I got those. And then one of the casualties of our move was my little Dory statue. So we actually picked up another little Dory statue for my tank. I kind of have a Disney theme going on with a lot of my animals, like my first animals. It eventually died off because we just have a bunch of them and wanted to name them other things. So I picked up another one. I'm gonna either put it in Sully's tank or I don't know yet, we'll see. But I also got this little guy. I think that she is adorable. You'll have to forgive me, I'm coming out of finals week. I actually don't remember her name, but I'm definitely gonna go watch the movie and find out. And then one last thing from this line is we got a little Nemo. My grandma actually picked this one out. She saw him and she was just like, it's so cute. And I'm like, if there's anything you want to put in my fish tank, like I'm not gonna stop you. As long as it's safe, then I'm okay with it being in there. So got this little Nemo, and I have a feeling these are all going in my 20-gallon because I kind of want to keep them together. But then we also got this little statue. It's just a turtle. Now they did have the Crush statue from Finding Dory. However, I really like this turtle. He's just such a cool little guy. And then, keeping with the ornament theme, we have this beautiful little pagoda type thing. It says it's an Asian gazebo. My grandma's really into like the oriental kind of things, and she picked this up. And then I got some live plants. Well, I mean, sort of. I got these little beta bulbs. I'm going to put them in with Smaug because he could use some real plants instead of any sort of fake plants. But it says these should grow within 30 days, and if not, they'll send a new one as long as you send them the plant bulb that didn't grow. The other day, since I moved, I actually replaced all my gravel. I had bright colored and it wasn't very natural looking, and I'm trying to go for more natural tanks. So I got some sand to help with the anchoring of all my plants. I have a really bad issue with them like floating to the top, and I've never had any luck with live plants. And we actually got some fluorite sand from Seachem. It is supposed to contain nutrients to help your plants grow faster and just be healthier in general. So I'm hoping that with that, and we're going to be getting some better lighting for them, some of the Floramax bulbs, that my plants will grow and not all die off within the first couple of weeks like they tend to do for me. We also got some Marimo moss balls. They're actually packaged just like the betas, and for a minute I thought I had grabbed another beta. I'm like, I didn't mean that, and then I realized it was the moss balls, and I remembered I had grabbed them. There were 3 in the container, but I was really excited, so I actually put one in Sully's tank already. It's one of the tanks I have set up currently because I still need to finish setting up. We also got 2 little Seachem bottles. I really am a fan of Seachem right now. I have good luck with their products and it seems to be working. I've got their Flourish Excel, Seachem Prime, and I figured I'd pick up Clarity. It helps with the clouding, and because of the type of substrate I have, I'm having some clouding issues. And then Stability. Now, when I moved, I crashed all my cycles, I believe. I have to watch my parameters really closely. I'm gonna check the ammonia pretty much every day just to make sure that my fish aren't getting hurt. I'm also probably going to check the other ones, but maybe not as frequently. It's the ammonia I'm really worried about. So this actually rapidly and safely establishes biofilter and prevents new tank syndrome. So I will be checking this out and letting you guys know if it worked for me and everything, but I'm also going to be, like I said, monitoring them. I can always do a water change. I feel really bad, but when we moved, everything was just bad. I had established these tanks before I really knew much about fish keeping, and I had aquarium salt in it, so there was salt all over the place and like all caked into all my gear, so I had to make sure I cleaned that out. Now, my favorite part of this haul. Shortly before I moved, we lost one of our beloved fish. His name was Sebastian, and we had him for 2 years. He had a tumor on his side, and I did a water change, and unfortunately, afterwards he just wasn't doing too good, and he passed away. So I was looking for another beta for my 20-gallon, and I picked him out. He is this gorgeous little guy. Look at him. This is Thor. He is a rose petal male, as you can see, and I love his coloring. I can't wait to see what he does when I get him in that tank, because it's such a great tank for a beta. They have so much room, and he'll love it. I'm really excited. Now my grandma's been looking at getting a beta, and I was looking for a crown tail when I went out because my first beta was a crown tail. So I actually found like one last beta display, and I ran up and I'm like, I gotta find a crown tail. Well, I didn't find a crown tail, but I found this guy. He is a dragon scale male. His name is Mushu. Oh, I don't know if I said it or not, but the other guy is Thor. But this is gonna be my grandma's beta. I got their tank. Now I do have filter media for my tank, so I'm going to be moving some of that around, hoping to help with the cycle, but I'll also be highly monitoring that tank and making sure that nothing goes wrong in there. But we are really excited. It's going to be her first beta, and he is going to be my 4th that I currently own. I've had more in the past, but they either passed or I actually ended up giving up to because I couldn't provide adequate care for them in my setup that I had at the moment. So I actually gave them to my local pet store that took amazing care of them. They had a velvet, because I had a velvet outbreak, and they did amazing. I've seen them in the store since, and they're looking beautiful. But I just didn't want to bring them back home when I put them through that, and I feel really bad, but we're definitely going to be watching and checking all our parameters and moving some filter media around just to make sure everyone is safe and settled. But yeah, that was, oh, I forgot the biggest part. One of our casualties of the move was my 20-gallon tank lid. Now, I talk a lot about my 20-gallon. It is like my pride because that's my biggest tank. So we had to pick up a new tank lid. And I went with the fluorescent because eventually I want to get all Floramax bulbs in my tanks. But we had to get a lot of stuff to get everyone set back up. So I got a new tank lid, and I'm going to be putting out a video hopefully soon about me like reestablishing all my tanks and all my animals, and you'll get to see and meet everyone. Alright, well, have a good day, everyone.